Hello. Hi. One second though. Give me a second, guys. Should we finish volume 1 today? I don't think we will, but on Saturday we will though. I come too fast? Of course you do, Bits. I'm not even surprised. Okay, let's get started. Give me a second though. A lot of things are happening. We are going to see Chilango's storyline conclude, I feel like, in this stream or next stream. Let me just try to remember. My prediction was that Olger is gonna struggle, or Audrey is gonna struggle getting Chilangos down. Azik is gonna help, and that will lead to Azik joining the Tarot Club and Chilangos dying. That's what I think is gonna happen. But who is he looking for in Backland? What item does he want? We don't know. He already has the creeping hunger. So I guess we'll find out, right? Maybe some like aristocrat he's after. Like he wants to become the king of pirates. Or one of the king of pirates. One Piece goal. But we'll see. You're like 5 king of pirates, so yeah. Hello, Nightwalker. Different state. Okay, let's start reading then. Now you start recording as well. Here we go. Client didn't hurry to dispel the wall of spirituality when he returned to his room. Instead, he expectantly took out the candle infused with sandalwood and placed it in the middle of the desk. So he's trying to summon himself, right? He then followed the steps of the ritual, lighting up the candle with his spirituality and scattering essences, extract, and herb powders. And herb powder, herb symbolizing good luck and mystery. Ooh. Herb symbolizing good luck and mystery, interesting. He saw the flame alternate between being dull and bright as he took in the fragrance of peace and harmony. Klein took 2 steps back and looked at the candle on the table. He then shouted in the language of the giants. I is him. After a pause, he switched to Hermes. I summon in my name. The fool doesn't belong to this era. The mysterious ruler above the grey fog. The king of yellow and black who wields good luck. At that moment, the flickering flame fused itself with the harmonious scent to form an illusory vortex, a vortex that manically absorbed the spirituality. After Klein finished reciting the incantations, the vortex stabilized to become a palm-sized circle of grayish-white fog. Okay. After observing the fog, Klein took 4 steps counterclockwise. Without hesitation, he returned to the world above the grey fog. As he expected, he saw ripples of light spreading from his high-back chair, accentuating the mysterious aura of the weird symbol, the pupilless eye, and partially contorted lines on his chair. Oh, the same symbol that's behind him in the fog, also the symbol of the secret organization. Secret order, sorry. He took in deep breath and calmed his soul down. This music is goofy, what? Can you hear music, guys, by the way? Also, hello chat, wakey wakey. Compared to previous, he took in a deep breath and calmed his soul down using cogitation before extending his hand toward the target. At that moment, he heard the incantation that he had just recited. He saw the surging spirituality and the rippling light fuse to form an illusory door. When compared to the previous time, the door was now completely formed and was etched full of mysterious patterns. Okay. The patterns were the same as the symbol of the back of the full chair, symbol made of the pupilless eye and the partially contorted lines. What if you open the door? The patterns were the same, yeah. As he looked at the door, Klein focused his mind and willed the door open. Without warning, ripples formed in the eternally immutable greyish-white fog, and the majestic palace, like a stone being cast in a peaceful pond. The ripples spread in the direction of the door of summoning. Door of... Okay. He's summoning himself. But like... I feel like that will be contradictory though. Go through the door of summoning to summon yourself. What's up, Crowish? What's up, Observer? What's up, Pure Strawberry? Or Pure Strawberry? Sound of heavy scraping or sound caused by friction could suddenly be heard. A slit appeared in a heavy, mysterious door. Beyond it, one could faintly see an immediate dark world, filled with countless indescribable transparent figures. There were also streaks of different colors, lustrous splendor, that harbored infinite knowledge. Oh my god, okay. That's like the spirit world, right? But it's in the grey fog, the door appeared in the grey fog, and it had the symbol of the seer or whatever. Or the symbol of the secret order as well. At the moment, Klein felt an unimaginable, irresistible, attractive force coming from beyond the door. He couldn't help but get pulled toward it. Maybe the Lord of Mystery is behind that door. Damn, are you not giving me the choice? Just as he had that alarming thought, his body went through the slit and vanished into the darkness behind the door. The dazzling maniac roars gradually died down. Klein finally came to his senses. What were the roars saying? Was it the good old ramblings? He saw a young man in front of him. The man was wearing an old shirt, had black hair, brown eyes, and average looking facial features. That's just you, no? Even though, like, you call yourself Mead. The man had an average build and was a little skinny, but his frame seemed to hide considerable power. He also had the obvious demeanor of a scholar. Isn't that me? Is that you in the future? What the fuck? That's him, but I mean, demeanor of a scholar. He has a demeanor of a scholar because he's a history graduate. Or is this maybe Shaw Mingrui? Isn't that me? Klein wasn't a stranger to scenes like this. He encountered something like this every time he looked in the mirror. So no, it's Klein. It's not Shaw. Okay. it's not him in the future because I was maybe like, oh, as a demeanor of a scholar, but Klein already has that, you know. You know that in the screenably and surveyed the surroundings, he saw his bed with a white bedsheet wrapped over it. He saw his half-top hat, tuxedo and black trench coat hanging on his clothes rack. Oh, so he's seeing himself. I see. But like in a room, not in... Okay. He saw his bed and white bedsheet wrapped over. He saw his half-top hat, tuxedo and black trench coat hanging on his clothes rack. He saw a bookshelf with quite a number of books, his neat table that only had one candle on it. He saw the candle flame emitting a grayish-white glow. And now he was floating in front of the palm-sized circle of grayish-white fog. So this is like succeeding summoning yourself, but you're kind of breaking the fourth wall by, like on yourself, by like seeing yourself, kinda. So I really summoned myself. It was a little out of a body experience, but there's also something a little different. Klein looked at the physical body belonging to him toward his blank vacant eyes and slipped into deep thought. Okay, I get it now. So he's actually having an out of body experience and he's literally staring at himself. But he can't finally confirm one thing: it was only his spiritual soul, also known as his soul body in mysticism, that headed to the world of walk. The exterior appearance was that of astral projection. Okay. It's no wonder that I can directly see the astral projection surface of justice, the hanged man and the sun, and confirm whether they were beyonders or not when I was in the world above the grey fog. I could also guess their sequence numbers. My physical body seems to be under some form of protection, perhaps the power from the ritual. For me to stand with such a stability and not lose my balance, it should be the same for Miss Justice and the others. So your body always like that when you go to the grey fog, I guess. Klein slowly got used to the current situation and started to analyze the conditions of both his physical body and soul. Interesting. Yeah, even in just a normal ritual and goes to the grey fog just like this, his body stays in his room, but this time he can actually see it, right? It's like, I wonder if ever we're gonna see him like get caught. Like what happens? It nearly happened once when I remember like it was still like a dream in Captain Don Smith's in the first episode or in the start of the novel, where he knocked and then Klein heard that in his room and his head hurt. Remember that? What if Don just came in, you know? He darted his gaze and tried to move his soul, now fused with powers from the mysterious space. Whoosh, a cold wind. I mean, Klein has to have excuse ready, like, oh, I was spacing out, or oh, I was sleeping but standing at the same time, or something. A cold wind started to blow as it spiraled around the room. Klein savored the sensation of flying, joyfully making circles in the room. That sounds fun. You can also take on the role of a messenger in the city now. I wonder if I can carry physical items with me. I don't think so. He collected himself and stopped. He floated in the air and experimented with his other abilities. He tried to grab a notebook from the bookshelf, but his hand passed through it. Yeah, you can't. Maybe you can when you get like higher sequence somehow. It was a little sticky. It's not like moving through air. I might be able to grab it after I become more powerful. Yeah, be able to utilize the mysterious power of the world above the grey fog. Klein once again tried grabbing a single piece of paper, but no avail. After more than 10 seconds of deliberation, he flew toward the clothes rack, extended his transparent hand in the pocket of his back trench coat. He touched the slumber charms and requiem charms that he replenished from the successful claim. They were objects infused with his own spirituality, different from ordinary objects in supernatural terms. Thus, Klein wanted to see if he could carry them about. True. His palm once again went through the charms, but he could clearly feel the existence. Oh, you're nearly there, bro. He felt the intertwining of spirituality, but he didn't have enough strength, quote-unquote strength, to pick them up. Of course, another explanation was that there wasn't enough spirituality within the charms to achieve a strong resonance with his current state. Donghua was cool, but Noel was mysterious, yeah. I like mystery. I ordered the whiteboard, by the way, so we can solve mysteries live on air, you know, without the notepad, but actually physical, like writing and then like showing you guys like my fucking my fucking thoughts. A warm sensation quickly spread all over his body, making him formed more stable and his thoughts clearer. He could take the thin gold piece out of his pocket and a mirror in his room. The charm seemed to float out of the pocket on its own accord. Similar descriptions in ghost stories. Huh. So, I'm guessing for physical items you need to be stronger, right? As in like fire sequence. I can move flaring sun charms. I can also create sound using my spirituality. So I do have certain abilities in this state. Klein flew towards the mirror and stopped in front of it. He saw that only the thin gold piece was reflected. Other than that, it was only the furniture and darkness in the room caused by the drawn curtains. After a few seconds of consideration, he placed the flaring sun charm onto the bed before returning to the front of the mirror. He wanted to see if he could move through the mirror. Vision turned dark. Klein's vantage point suddenly changed. He saw the room that was reflected in the mirror. The furniture was accentuated by the weak sources of light. It made him feel as though he was hiding in an obscure corner, peeping into a tiny portion of the room. I really can go through the mirror, but this is only an ordinary item. Why doesn't lead to some mysterious and strange world? And nodded and charged forward, once again returning to his room. The success of carrying the flaring sun charm gave him immense confidence, hence the attempt at grabbing something else. Mr. Azik's copper whistle. I guess it could work, right? It's also a mystical item. What's up, Animary? How are you doing? Theory board, yeah. I'm still think that Azik doesn't know that his copper whistle can like make a zombie army, by the way, that he can control. Like he's a necromancer. I wonder if his sequence is called. There has to be a sequence in the Sleepless Pathway called Necromancer. There just has to be. The moment he touched the ancient and increased object, he felt his spirituality expanding and freezing. His illusory eyes turned into dark, burning flames! Feels like I have gotten a little more powerful. My form is like a wraith, but without a strong sense of vengeance. Careful, Klein! What if you get stuck in this, like, spirit world, and you cannot return your body because you're touching, like, some stuff from the southern continent that you're not supposed to touch? Klein projected his current appearance by calming his mind. That was one of the abilities of the clown. So it was fine. Okay. Sir Azik's copper whistle is truly fascinating. He nodded, noticing that he could now pick up a piece of paper with certain weights. He could also pick up his slumber charms. How unfortunate, I can carry the silver ritual dagger, but the revolver is too heavy. Kain concluded his experiments and turned to see if he could use any spells in the state. After serious tests, he concluded that he could conjure two spells. The first being a formless howl, could shake the soul of his target, and the second was inducing a state akin to freezing via contact with the target. Okay. Could shake the souls of his target. Is that useful? Shake in what way? I don't understand. First being a formless howl could shake the souls of his target, and the second one inducing a state akin to freezing. Okay, so freezing I can see why that would be useful, but shake the soul of his target. That's some metaphor I don't understand maybe. Klein gave him to a satisfied stop. He looked at the oriel window toward the sunlight and street covered by the curtain. Do you see everything, guys? All the text? I think you can. Anyway. I wonder if I can move about during the day in this state, he muttered as he floated towards the window. I mean, Oh, he removed the spirituality wall, I'm pretty sure, right? Then carefully lifted the curtain, creating a slit and allowing a small amount of sunlight to pass through the wall of spirituality into the room. So no, the world spirituality is still there. Under the radiant sunlight, Klein felt his soul boil with a black fog. His powers were also being rained away bit by bit. He quickly reached his crypt, allowing the curtain to block the light. I can't, Klein thought for a moment, then placed his gaze on the flaming sun charm on the bed. You can't because there's a spirituality wall, no? Or you just don't... I wonder if the effect would be the same if I'm augmented with the divine blood of eternal blazing sun. He floated towards the bed and tried to grab the tin of beast gold. You are testing too much, man. What if you like get stuck in this form forever, which I know he won't, but doesn't he think it's a possibility? But just as he touched the charm, the warm, pure feeling formed a stark contrast with his burgeoning cold spirituality. It was like an existential conflict between fire and water. Zizzle. He tossed the piece of gold away as if it had been burned. Yeah, it's hot. The power of Azik's copper whistle cannot inhabit my soul at the same time as the flaring sun charm. Makes sense, okay. So it doesn't stack. Klein understood as he set the copper whistle down. He felt his spirituality shrink and the black flames in his eyes extinguished. In this state, both the spells I can use have been weakened. After another round of experimentation, Klein grabbed the flaring sun charm, once again feeling the stabilizing and warm, purifying effects of the charm had on his spirit body. He returned to the window and cautiously moved through the curtain. The sunlight only felt warm on his body, but didn't inflict any harm. Okay. The sunlight only felt warm on his body, but it didn't inflict any harm. Not bad. Klein let out a mixed smile. He made his way past the wall of spirituality and cautiously flew out of the house. Okay. Intention of conducting more experiments. That's so fucking cool, by the way. I wanna fly through my city, man. But like, I kind of feel like when he leaves his like house, I mean we saw that in anime as well, but or donghua, sorry. But I feel like it's too risky and Klein is not really thinking about things here. Only me? Or is it is Klein just certain that he can just, you know, go back to his physical body after? I guess he's certain. Wanderer Klein. Ooh, interesting. Whole chapter of him like experimenting, I guess. That's cool. I'm gonna run an ad because we switched to manual ads. Yo, masters, how are you doing? Okay, I think that is over. Wanderer Klein. The weather in Tingen turned in the refreshing cool to a bit tingly chill in the early September. Ooh, it's early December, okay. September. However, the sunlight at 3 or 4 in the afternoon was still warm and soothing. If the music is too loud, let me know, by the way. Klein went through the wall of spirituality at the oriel window. He floated in the air outside his bedroom as he overlooked the people and carriages shuttling to and from Daffodil Street. Just then there was a man in grey labor uniform who suddenly lifted his head and looked over. Can't they see Klein? Klein panicked and wanted to hide, but he couldn't find any suitable cover. When he didn't see anything to hide behind, he started to sneak back into his house. However, from the corner of his eye, he saw the man earlier merely glanced over the window. Then his gaze followed a flying sparrow, but unfortunately lost sight of it. Okay, so it wasn't him. In Tingen, birds could occasionally be seen. That's a weird comment. I forgot that an ordinary person won't be able to see me. Klein uttered a breath of relief and felt that he had yet to be used to the situation. Get used to the situation. As he grew more confident, he flew lower and went to the nearby spacious street where he floated above people's heads. As he drew closer, Klein immediately realized that his vision was the same as his spirit vision. Oh, there was no need for him to activate it, but there was a restriction to its range. Are you good, Klein, to keep going with it or not? Also, besides aura and emotional colors, you could faintly feel the existence of everyone's soul. They were blurry, illusory, and transparent. In this state, I think I could bypass a person's body and directly attack their soul. Klein nodded thoughtfully. Don't do that. He circled around and prevailed to test his fastest speed. Hence, he flew towards Iron Cross Street with all his strength. It didn't take long before he came to a halt and arrived outside the apartment he used to stay in. Oh, old place. It should be about the speed of a car on the highway. It's a pity that I still cannot go in and out of the spirit world. Otherwise, it'd be perfect. But if I were to be lost in the spirit world, it's said that that the consequences are very severe. Just as Klein finished his self-evaluation, he felt low-spirited and gloomy. There was unspoken pressure. I love the Chilangos part so much. Thank you for asking, by the way. We're finishing it this week. Can't wait for volume 2, man. I'm Mr. Said. No, I am what's my name? I'm the Lord of Mysteries. He looked around and felt that Iron Cross Street was engulfed with the gloominess that ordinary people could see. A darkness that sunlight couldn't dispel. There were layers of numbness, despair, pain and other emotions overlapping as though they were corporeal. Yeah, I mean, these are the poor part of town. You can't really escape depression there, right? It feels like what I experienced when I'm using spiritual perception on the street when I first became a seer. Iron Cross Street, Middle Street and Lower Street hasn't changed to this day. Then Klein, you should change it someday. I wonder how many years it took to accumulate such an oppression and gloominess. Yeah, it sucks. Klein recalled the past inside as he flew up to the 3rd floor of the surrounding buildings. He finally felt sunlight and shook off his depression. Klein flew along Lower Street and from time to time you could see the residents who were dressed in tattered clothes, looking expressionless and malnourished. He even ran into new bodies and had died of natural causes. Oh my god, prolonged starvation and malnutrition with sudden infection of an illness. Yep. There were countless people who died in agony every month. However, the bankrupt farmers and slaves that surged in from the southern continent replaced them very quickly. Klein sighed in silence and changed direction and flew south. That's what happened in the Industrial Revolution, man. People went from serfdom to industrial work and there were consequences, you know? Damn. There were countless people who died in agony, yep. There was an industrial era of Tingen. The steelworks, lead factories, ceramic factories, printing factories, metalworks factories, machine construction factories and other factories all built right next to one another. As he flew, Klein saw towering chimneys. He saw dust filling and the air and thick gloominess that was only slightly better than that of Lower Street. It was crowded with emotions of exhaustion, pain, pessimism, and numbness. Laborers who were in their 30s were considered the minority because people died. Oh my god. Just as Klein wanted to fly lower to look at the area more closely, he suddenly felt weak. It was a weakness that came from inside him. Yeah, there's a limit. He has to go back to his physical body now. My spirituality can't withstand the duress. Klein became alarmed. He was in a hurry to return home, but suddenly he thought of better possibility. I was gonna go summoned out. If I were to enter summon, I would return naturally. True, he calmed down and carefully felt the surrounding environment and his status. So unsurprisingly, they discovered something that was connected to him, from infinitely far away but also infinitely close to him. It formed an intricate tether to him. Oh, I see. So that's how you can sever the connection, I guess. Through this connection, Klein clenched the flaring sun charm tightly and felt a strong desire to end the summoning. A massive and terrifying suction force overwhelmed him as figure went from transparent to nearly invisible, and in a flash he vanished from the corporeal world. Silence was everywhere in the boundless grey fog. There were leisurely crimson stars that twinkled. I'm not in the mood for this song, by the way. Silence was everywhere in the boundless grey fog. There were leisurely crimson stars that twinkled. So, like, if I was talking about this last stream as well, but if you want someone to like pull in someone specific, like let's say Audrey wants Shio and Force to join the Tarot Club, like how do you know which red twinkling star they are? Or do they have to just pray to the Fool and the twinkling red star will appear? I guess that will fix it, right? I guess that will make sense, yeah. Klein repaired in a lofty palace that looked like a home of a giant, probably because it was in the past. As he sat in the seat of honor at the ancient bronze table, the entire procedure went well. Furthermore, Klein looked at his spirit body in pleasant surprise and saw that it contained a warm and pure cold portion. Okay, so it when he severed the connection, it came with him. The flaring sun charm actually brought something corporeal into their world about the grey fog. Now you can give it to Tarek and Audrey, right? Oh my god! He held the charm with a smile and fiddled with it to make sure it wasn't an illusory item. He stood up and paced back and forth, feeling completely gratified. Oh, he thought of himself in anticipation. As expected, ingredients and items can be brought into this mysterious space. I just need to find the correct way, and also I have to find the correct way to smuggle them out as well, so they can get it as well. However, this method is quite complicated. It needs me to do quite a bit before it reaches the destination. Furthermore, if it were to be summoned by members all the time, it will damage the Fool's image. I can only do that occasionally or after I understand it more. Yeah, exactly. I can design an incantation that summons the Fool's blessed, but it will similarly be directed at me. I'm not some born laborer. Why must the incantation point towards me? When the time comes, I can conjure what seems like a messenger or a more unique quote-unquote blessed, and let it deal with the dispatch and collection of materials. Ideas popped up after another as Klein contemplated, but due to his limitation of his capabilities and knowledge, he couldn't put them into practice just yet. As he became even weaker, Klein didn't dare to stay any longer. He used his spirituality to develop himself and simulate the feeling of descending. In the blink of an eye, he returned to his bedroom. He saw splendid sunlight pouring through the gap in his curtains. He examined his body and made sure that the flaring sun charm wasn't brought back but left above the grey fog. When I've gotten enough rest, I'll repeat the summon ritual at dawn to bring the flaring sun charm back to reality. Oh, so... okay, so it's still up there. Ugh, it would be great if I could maintain the state a little longer. That way I could be able to investigate the house with rim chimneys. Oh my god, it's gonna be so much easier. It's just a pity that I cannot do it yet. I can only fly long enough to investigate a few houses before having to return about the grey fog and rest for half a day. That's a long time rest, by the way. The efficiency would be just as low. True. Klein walked before his desk and put on the silent burning candle. After he packed his things, he didn't remove the wall spreadsheet immediately. Instead, he sat down and took out a pen and paper to write a letter to Mr. Azik. After he wrote the salutation of Dear Sir, he pondered for a few minutes before penning. I recently received some news that one of the 7 pirate admirals, Vice Admiral Hurricane Chilangos, has infiltrated Packland. He carries a mystical item called the Creeping Hunger. Jeez, creepy. It provides an ability similar to a shepherd, which is sequence 5 Beyonder that swallows different souls and obtains their corresponding powers. It's said that there is a limit to the number of souls of grazing, but souls can be swapped out. Oh my god, so he's sequence 6. I think we need Azik to beat him, but the problem is Azik doesn't know how powerful he is, maybe. Chilango seemed to have many Beyonder powers, and I'm not sure what he's trying to do in Packland. I think he wants to become the Pirate King, so he maybe has to do something to achieve that, and he wants an artifact also. Maybe he needs to kill someone. Maybe he's aiming to kill someone and look someone in Packland. The news I received suggests that he might be after a very important, very mystical item that could make Chilangos a high sequence Beyonder, or as powerful as a high sequence Beyonder. Klein fabricated his source of information to generally describe the situation with Chilangos, but it wasn't like Mr. Azik would look for a Nighthawk captain and confirm it. Oh my god, cheeky. Klein didn't directly request assistance, but made it seem like he brought up the subject casually to encourage Azik to be careful. Regardless of whether Azik was willing to help, it won't hurt to first lay the foundations. If Klein eventually... So, I'm guessing is if Azik joins Tarot Club, is he gonna know that Fool is Klein? If Klein eventually had to ask for help, it won't appear out of the blue that way. Klein let out a breath slowly and started writing the main content of the letter. The mastermind behind all that has happened hasn't taken any further action, and I still haven't found any related clues. The reason why I'm contacting you so suddenly is mainly to ask for your guidance regarding sacrificial rituals. I came across something like that during a recent mission. I mean, what else can you sacrifice? Like food, I guess? Male Audrey, what are you guys talking about? I just said I have all character, gender bender version fan art. You shouldn't say gender bender. But yeah, that's cool. I think gender bender is a little bit offensive. There's only one copper whistle. Sorry? The reason why I'm contacting you suddenly is to mainly ask for your guidance regarding sacrificial rituals. I came across something like that during a recent mission. I think in the nation of Evernight, because people were disappearing, I feel like they were like sacrificed and maybe they can be brought back. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, with the sudden description of Mr. Azik answered to compare, I should be able to try a sacrificial ritual after that. By reversing the ritual, I should be able to bestow items. This will be a more suitable ritual for exchanging ingredients and items rather than summoning myself. Ah. Okay, let's hope that Mr. Azik remembers the knowledge about this. Klein nodded slightly, put down his pen and without signing his name. There's only one copper whistle, and I'm sure Mr. Azik won't make a mistake with the sender. Exactly. Therefore, to be careful, Klein didn't leave his name. Yeah, like, it can only come from Klein, unless he has multiple. After he folded the letter, he looked at his 3-meter tall ceiling. He picked up the copper whistle from the bed a little hesitantly. Perfect. Let it squat and let it get the letter. Klein emphasized inwardly before lifting his right hand and putting the copper whistle to his lips. He puffed his cheeks and blew hard. The whistle didn't produce a sound, but Klein's acute senses noticed that the surroundings had instantly turned cold. Ooh. He activated his spirit vision and saw that there were blurry yet glistening white bones surging out of his body desk like a fountain as it rose in height. Sheesh. The white study desk, not body desk, sorry. The white bones quickly gathered together and turned to a illusory yet a huge monster. Its head tore through the wall of spirituality and reached somewhere unknown. Klein looked at the white skeleton, thighs and body, as well as arms that hung down. Seeing its right palm open up, the corner of Klein's lips twitched as it tossed over the folded letter. It's cute. The large bony palm did sweep and caught the letter firmly. Then Klein picked up his copper whistle and flew again without hesitation. The monster crumbled in an instant, transforming into bones that fell onto his desk before sinking in and vanishing. After doing all that, Klein removed the wall of spirituality in the sudden wind that stirred. After doing all that, Klein removed the wall of spirituality. In the sudden wind that stirred, he hobbled towards the clothes rack and returned the copper whistle to its original place. Then he quickly walked to his bed and planted his head into it. The moment his body touched the soft mattress, he fell into deep sleep. I mean, using and flying in Tingen and using the summoning took a toll on him, right? He said like half day energy or something like that. So your friend is watching this live without knowing anything about Lord of Mysteries. I don't think they should do that, but that's funny. So he can bring physical items, but he's not gonna do it right now because it will seem weird if he can only like bring one item and then Olger asks for another one. Then how does he like not be fraud because he can't, because he's physically tired. He can't do the summoning again, right? So I think it's better for him to like wait until he gets stronger. Also, yeah, Chilangos mentioned again. I'm guessing Azik is gonna learn about Chilangos and gonna help take him down, and that will lead to Azik joining the Derout Club. But I just hope that there will be someone like Azik who knows Klein is the fool, but then like how is the dynamic gonna work? Like Azik has to pretend not to know the fool, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's read 183 right now. Lesson in Mediumship. Lesson without Unc Neil. That's sad. I'm gonna run an ad. How's your guys' day, by the way? I'm gonna close the window, be right back. I ran ads, no? I mean, run them again, I guess. Where is the Alma? Remember Alma? Alma was like in the chat, I mean, like the #1 Azik laser. I guess they disappeared after Azik left, you know? By the way, I made a Bilibili, which I have no video. I recorded the introduction video, but I nearly have like 427. I nearly have 500 followers on Bilibili without a video. I made like a post here, and it has like 200 likes and 110 comments, which is crazy. I was like responding to it all day. Like in Chinese. I was responding in Chinese as well. People love me in China, I guess. So yeah. If you have Bilibili, you can go follow me, I guess. What's Susie's last name? Dog? Oh, we're after volume 1, we're doing like an exam. If you have any questions, I think there's a thread on Discord. You can like put your own like questions that you want me to answer after volume 1. A little like trivia, I guess. No lesson without old Neil. First Filipino fan? I don't know if you're the first, but love the Philippines. Hello, how are you doing? Philippines is awesome. I want to visit Philippines. Lesson on mediumship. After dinner, Klein engaged in small talk before like reclining on the sofa. Oh, like an old man. You know you're getting old. By the way, I realized something. I was trimming my beard today, right? And I realized that I have nose hair. I have nose hair. I never noticed I have nose hair. Like I'm gonna pluck them out, I guess. He picked up the recently delivered Awa evening news and started leisurely reading. Benson wore a bitter expression as he sat opposite his sister. In front of him was a dining table which had been wiped clean by Bella. Oh, shout out to Bella. It was grammar books, classic literature, accountancy notes and other materials. In front of Melissa were her notes and stationery including but not limited to pens, paper, rulers, compasses, etc. It's like I've been talking to some 10 years back. Back then I was still a student at church Sunday school, Benson complained, but he continued to study with his head down. That's not too bad. The scene makes me feel the achievement of being a parent, Klein smiled and said. Knowledge can change one's destiny. Intelligence will result in glory, exactly. I meant that the latter half of the saying. I wonder if Roselle had said that before. He lampooned in his heart. That's normal. But like what age do you realize you have nose hair? I realized today. I'm 25 years old. Benson complained, but he continued to study with his head down. That's not too bad, yeah, okay. The room quickly became quiet except for the sound of pens scratching across pages or books being flipped. Bella had finished doing the dishes and tidied up the kitchen before returning to her room. On the first floor, a small room that was formerly the guest room. Klein sipped on his sip black tea as he read the newspaper. Classic. Occasionally engaging in small talk with his siblings, he was relaxing. Suddenly, the gas lamps in the living room and dining room turned dark at the same time if they had run out of fuel. Benson and Melissa looked up towards the lamps in an attempt to figure out the cause. Klein also looked towards the lamps. At this moment, he felt something touch his arm. It was the only living person in the living room, but something had touched his arm. Who? Oh, Azik's response maybe? His hair stood up. Klein retracted his arm and turned to look over. He saw 5 thin, pale fingers growing on the tip of Tali messenger of a dong. Underneath them was an irregular row of sharp teeth. Klein instinctively reached for his pockets. Within them were Quayam charms and Sombra charms, but he caught a glimpse of a neatly folded piece of paper in the finger's grasp. A letter. Okay, so this what's the name of chapter 1? Name of chapter 1 is the date 2000 28th of August 2000 something, right? I think 2429. I don't know. I think so. A messenger. Klein heaved a sigh of relief. That moment, the 5 pale fingers prodded his arm again. Klein saw Melissa. Come on, hide! Klein saw Melissa about to stand up and check on the gas lamp. He reached out of his left hand and grabbed the letter. Then he quickly retracted his arm and hid the letter under the stack of newspaper on the table. He then saw the fingers stung and the regular row of sharp teeth fade away, disappear at the corner of his eye. Even with a thought, Klein tapped his left molar and silently activated his spirit vision. He once again saw the 5 abnormally thin fingers. He saw long red tongue adorned with sharp white teeth. He saw them retracting back into transparent face on the crown. That's cool. That's creepy though. It was crimson? Oh, I thought it was the year that he got transmigrated into in another world. Or what was the name of the episode? Okay. I see. The song just stopped. Let me put this one. Thousand fucks? I did not say that. Is the song like loud enough, or is it like too loud or too quiet? So the long red tongue adorned with sharp white teeth. He saw them retracting back into transparent face on the ground. A second later, the faces appeared completely. The lights in the living room and dining room were restored back to normal. Strange, Melissa pouted, finding no faults with the lamps even after a serious check. Why is the lady in our house responsible for such things? While the men watched from the side, Klein shook his head and deactivated spirit vision. When spirits were willing to be seen and had corresponding abilities, and even an ordinary person could spot them. What happened just now was an example. Oh shit, you have to be careful next time, dude. You have to be really careful next time. After discussing the problem with the gas lamps, the Moretti siblings became quiet once again. Benson and Melissa once again delved into an ocean of knowledge. Klein used the newspaper as cover and folded the letter with one hand. He placed the paper between the newspaper and started reading the reply from Spirit Guide Tali. It was Tali's. See, it's the fucking teeth on the tongue. I have to emphasize again, I heard the title of Spirit Medium. I'm going to give you a positive response regarding what you ask. Yes, mediumship rituals can also be used on living beings, not just living animals. But it's troublesome and poses some level of danger. The souls left behind by the dead are pure. They have view of impurities or chaotic thoughts. We can communicate with them, asking them questions and receiving answers without any barriers. Of course, you can use the method of dream divination directly to receive images from them. But that cannot be replicated with living humans. The subject still has a will and will fight against unprotected communication between souls. Klein's lips twitched when he read the letter. He confirmed that Dali herself who wrote this letter. Unprotected communication, that really is the way she speaks. Klein returned to the letter after taking a quick glance at his siblings. We only have two methods when faced with such situation. First, we can use our power, spirituality, and sophisticated mediumship rituals to try and empower the will of the other person. Engaging in barbaric method of communication. Second, we can use medication to make the other party relax. What I use the most are Amantha essence and eye of the spirit medication. I mean, Dali is a professional in that sense, right? Hey, I'm sure that you still have a lingering impression of those. Exactly, that's what they did to Klein. After reaching stage of channeling the soul, you must take note that you're also in spiritual state, unlike when you are communicating with the souls left behind by the dead. In similar terms, your spirituality is entering the spirituality world of the other party. Oh, okay. Okay, so I thank you for the simpler terms, by the way, because, you know, you need to explain it to me a little bit simpler. Take note, the professional spirit medium won't lack the means of protecting themselves under such a state, but you cannot do that. You will not be able to learn or use the techniques later. I know of, even I explained them to you. He's gonna use it against Hugin, I think, right? So I have to maintain a certain level of lucidity and rational thought. Only through this method can you fight back against the torrents of the other party's random and chaotic thoughts before arriving before his spirit and chaotic thoughts before arriving before his spirit and establishing communication. At this point, you'll be communicating at the level of the body and heart and mind. I see. At this stage, you have two options. One is to use technique to forcefully read the memories of the other party, but you have to be very careful, for you cannot be sure if things you're reading are the things you want to know. That's fucking scary. If you indiscriminately receive a large amount of memories from a person, it's very likely that your soul will collapse. So it's like you will just die, and your soul will collapse if you like fuck up or. I guess it depends on the person you're using it on. If it's Hudyugen, like probably has a lot of thoughts. Furthermore, it will cause severe damage to your target's soul, sometimes even destroying them completely. Unless you're a professional spirit medium, I do not suggest using this method. Oh, Dali did tell him about this method. If Dali was really concerned, he wouldn't have told him. Second option is simply communicate with other parties' body of heart and mind. No matter how you entered, whether it be through violence or medication, target will definitely be in a groggy state. Groggy as in like slouchy and like, unresponsive, right? Will generally not be able to lie. Just like you couldn't. No, I cannot recall what happened to you, although I know you've definitely forgotten about it. Well, Klein didn't lie because he had no idea how he survived the gunshot, remember? And he had he doesn't remember the gun and anything like that, so yeah. So it's like, he wasn't honest because he never mentioned transmigration, but who would be crazy enough to mention that? But he also didn't technically lie. Sorry, Madam Dali, I was very awake back then. Klein shorted inwardly as he lowered his gaze and read the rest of the letter. Nice. You had to get a little like snarky comment out there, you know? Oh my god, Nightwalker, you mentioned Itachi. I love Itachi, man. Such communication can allow you to obtain real answers, but they won't necessarily all be the truth. You should understand what I mean. As long as you read the news, you must have heard Emperor Cell's famous quote. I don't remember the actual quote, but the essence of the quote is that what one says shall be the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. He probably just copied it, vulgarized it from the real world, right? Or I'm guessing not the real world, but Klein's world. In short, a spirit might not remember everything because a lot of memories are in one subconscious or collectively be in the subconscious. Oh, I should mention that. Don calls it the evil theories of the psychology alchemists. Who writes a letter like that, by the way? Tali, you're very interesting. You are... Oh, oops, I shouldn't have mentioned that. Just in case when Don reads a letter or something. How is that theory evil, though? Or is it Don just thinking about that? Rosell, the plagiarist? Exactly. Well, Nightwalker is spoiling randomly, what the fuck? Thus you must be able to guide the soul and be good at designing your questions. To understand, the corresponding techniques include... These are all under normal circumstances. What should we pay attention to when we're trying to communicate with the soul of a beyonder who has gone insane? So I'm guessing Klein got that like letter short and saw the new sentence. I mean, this is about Hudyugen, of course, right? It's the same, maintaining your lucidity. You must not fall into daze at all. This is because a beyonder spirituality is very potent and their spirit is filled with chaotic thoughts. Let me give you an example. An ordinary person's consciousness is an island. Subconsciousness is the portion of the sea beneath the island. The collective subconscious is the surrounding sea. The sky belongs to the spirit world. As for a beyonder, his quote-unquote island might have a controllable active volcano. Lunatic's island might have a volcano that can erupt at any time. It would quake the foundations and pollute the sea. So, unpredictability, right? Because of insanity. When you come into unbridled contact with the spirit of an insane person, his chaotic thoughts might infect you, just like how polluted water and the sea would flow outward, spreading further. Yes, channeling his spirit under such conditions is like linking your sea to his. Thus, you need to pay close attention to this pollution. It's interesting because in donghua it was very like symbolic with water and like sea as well when he entered actually Hu Yugen's brain. Under normal circumstances, mental diseases are not contagious, but in the domain of mysticism, in the world of channeling spirits, they can indeed be contagious. A few examples are when a spirit medium is careless when doing similar things and didn't use any protection. After that, they cannot develop mental problems similar to that of the target. Maintaining your lucidity and not being affected by the chaotic thoughts of the target are things that you must pay attention to. Following those will be guided questions which can be used to effectively communicate with an insane person. What are the protections though? What the like not go overboard? If you wish to try this, I suggest applying a serenity agent before doing so. What the fuck is a serenity agent? The corresponding formula is available behind Tingen City Shani's gate. There's also the formula product. It can be effective in helping you maintain rational thought during the process. Ah, okay, I see. Agent as in like some like juice or like some item, not a person. I get it now. If you wish to try this, I suggest applying a serenity. Yeah. Of course, you can also get Tan to apply for help from the background Tio Keys. I'm very willing to see the spirituality state of an insane sequence 7 psychiatrist. Lucidity and rational thought, that was my expertise. I maintained lucidity and rational thought even when my soul was being channeled. Of course, Klein is self-glazing right here. Of course, I'm not someone who lets confidence into my head. I'll still apply for the serenity, a mantha extract and eye of the spirit medication. Klein heaved a sigh of relief, a little eager to make the attempt. He put down his newspaper and stood up. He then entered the bathroom and ignited the ladder with his spirituality before tossing the ashes into the toilet bowl and flushing them. That night, Klein once again tried the ritual of summoning himself and brought the flaring sunshine back to the physical world and into his room. He also didn't receive Mr. Azik letter even though he had expected a swift reply. Perhaps he needed some time to recall the knowledge, or perhaps he's not free to give me a reply for now, or perhaps he's worried about that he will be interrupting my sleep. Klein dispelled the wall of spirituality as he speculated. He made his way to the bed. The following day, Tuesday morning. No, it's Tuesday. Klein entered the Blackthorn security company and knocked on the door of Captain Office as usual. Okay, I'm guessing in the next few episodes or next few chapters we're gonna enter Hu Yugen's head. You have to be really careful though, because there are a lot of ways to lose control and actually become insane. But you know, I believe in Klein. Also, you know, Klein already knows this, but Lanevuski is connected to Hu Yugen because Daxter revealed that last time. So yeah, 184, let's go. I was gonna run an ad. Where's my ad? I closed my ad. Where is RIR, by the way? I'm heavenly angel, not a femboy. Holy copium. I guess we're getting the agent from the Chinese gate here, so let's go. Heavenly femboy. Please come in, Don Smith said with a mellow and pleasant voice. Klein turned the doorknob and pushed open the door. You could see Captain having his breakfast. In his right hand was a cup of coffee emitting a rich aroma. And right in front of him there was a white bread, toast and bacon. Damn! Don placed his remaining sandwich toast with butter into his mouth and ate it. He then simply pointed the chair opposite to his desk. Klein didn't disturb the Captain from enjoying his breakfast. With a smile, he sat down, waited patiently. Wow, what a Chad. Don saw that he was in no hurry, so he relaxed back into his chair, picked up his coffee, took a sip, and swallowed his food in his mouth. He took a napkin, wiped the corners in his lips, and said, "What's the matter?" Klein nodded seriously and said, "I met Dexter, and a doctor on the asylum, and also a member of the psychology alchemists." As he spoke, he caught a glimpse of the magazine that was spread open before the Captain. Did he provide any news? What was in the magazine? Did he provide any news? Don asked, crossing his arms. Klein simply described, "He told me that before Eugen went crazy, there was someone who visited him quite frequently. The person's name is Lanevus." Lanevus, Don massaged his temples. "I seem to have heard of it before. It's the cheat who swindled at least 10,000 pounds, Klein reminded him. Don thought for a while, and with a serious look on his face, he then shook his head to show that he had no memory of it. Of fucking course, Don Smith. Of course. Captain, you're not sensitive at all when it comes to money," Klein lampooned and told him the related story about Lanevus by highlighting the main points. The cheat falsely claimed that he had prospected and purchased an iron mine with rich deposits of iron ore. He raised funds from private individuals in Tingen and swindled more than 10,000 pounds. Someone I know from the Divination Club offered a loss from this. In addition, a young woman was swindled into an engagement with him and is now pregnant with his child, Mekus. He visited Eugen multiple times before he went crazy, Don said in thought. Sequence 8 beyond the swindler, the Marauder pathway. Captain, your memory is actually good when it comes to this kind of thing, Klein found it funny. As he reflected over it, he nodded faintly and said, "That was my guess as well." Wow, Don, okay. Because the steelworks company Lanemu set up was in South and the victims were on several different beliefs, the case wasn't passed to us in the end. Bro knows about the acting method because he swindled of money, dude. Even if there was had been evidence of beyond their involvement in the case, it would have passed over the mandated punishers. Don finally understood the ins and outs of the story. He looked at Klein with his deep grey eyes and said, "What do you want to do?" Captain, can you please not be so sensitive?" Klein replied with a mask of solemnity. "I want to talk about Eugen via mediumship ritual and figure out why Lanevus came back looking for him. I want to know if that visit is directly related to him going insane." Don nodded slightly and said, "Even if you hadn't applied to do it, I would have had similar experiment done when we were certain that Eugen is crazy." However, Dolly told me that it's quite risky. Are you confident? I can ask for assistance from the background TOCs. It shouldn't be a problem to delay it for a few days. Exactly, Damien. That's funny. Sup, clients, toes? Oh, you're sick? I'm sorry. Or like you're not feeling well? I'm sorry. Good, like I hope you feel better soon. Klein's main motivation to become a Beyonder was to study mysticism and find a way home. Oh my god, finally mentioned, by the way, because he hasn't talked about it in a long freaking time. Also, he never refers to himself as Shaw anymore, and he never refers to himself to Melissa. He's never saying like, "Oh, Klein's siblings." So yeah, as it was a chance for practical exercise, and he was confident enough, he was naturally unwilling to give it up. Captain, I mastered knowledge on the subject. I'm confident about this. Of course, it will require certain ingredients such as Amantha extract, eye of spirit medicine, and Serenity agent. Serenity agent is behind Johnny's gate, I think. Right? Don ruminated over the name and confirmed Klein's professionalism. He remembered Tali mentioned that it was liquid medicine that was rarely used. It was very efficient and mediumship. Don Smith pondered for nearly 20 seconds and leaned back into his chair. He said, "Go ahead, I'll fill out the request form." Then he collected what you need from behind China's gate. I'm not sure if there are any finished goods. If there aren't any pick-up ingredients, you need to conduct this medicine accordingly. Alright, Klein replied happily. He didn't get up and sat firmly in his chair. So we're gonna see China's gate inside in the novel for the first time. Don massaged his temples. He thought carefully and said, "It happens to be my turn to monitor asylum this evening. We can't visit Huyugen directly. No one knows if there are any members of Psychological Alchemists disguised as doctors, nurses, janitors, or patients in the asylum. True. Won't Daxter know though? What do you think? Don top or bottom? What do you mean? Don is top. I feel like Tali would be pretty like up for like you know, begging Don, I guess. If Don is into it, why am I talking about this? Just forget I said anything, please. No one knows if psychology alchemists are monitoring Huyugen either. Any action we must take must be a secret. We can't expose that Daxter Gadarian has become our informant. We'll go at dawn by sneaking secretly. Yes, I'll keep guard while you perform the ritual to prevent any accidents from happening. That'd be best. If Huyugen is just pretending to be crazy while I use mediumship ritual on him, it will be like a barge into the zoo and dance before a tiger. Klein relaxed and said sincerely, "Yes, Captain." Wanna send me one? Only character? Oh. Don is definitely bottom? I don't think so. He stood up and walked toward the door. Just then the corner of his eye noticed the title of the magazine article the captain was reading. Donningsman tree sap in the southern continent rainforest has had significant effect on boosting hair growth. No fucking way! No fucking way! No! Get that to Benson for, you know, his birthday, I guess. What the fuck? Hair growth. That's crazy. Suddenly there was playful thoughts that flashed through his mind. Actually, a Beyonder doesn't need to go through such trouble. If an old Neil was still around, he could design a ritualistic magic for hair growth. Then he would pray for goddess assistance, whether one will be covered with hair and become curly-haired baboon. It's another story. That will be the goddess response. If it were me, I will definitely curse, motherfucker. What the fuck? That thought suddenly taken Klein's happiness with sadness, but there was also a hint of hilarity in the sadness. He entered clerk's office and sat before the Artisan Model 1346 typewriter and finished typing his application. Where did I get 2000 from, by the way, from like a few chapters ago? Am I fucking dumb? After done, Smith stamped and signed the application. He took it down to the basement and walked along the tunnel that was lit up with gas lamps toward China's Gate. Only at that moment did Klein realize something. It will be the first time that he was going to beyond the mysterious gate. True. What do you mean, Pure? What did I say wrong? Is the god of receding hairlines, especially slightly? I mean, Klein's a motherfucker. Right there. Only that moment did Klein realize something. It would be the first time that he was going beyond the mysterious gate. I wonder what it looks like. He awakened his base with anticipation and came before the twin doors of the black gate. When I saw it in donghua, it looked magical, dude. He first passed the request to Sika, who was on duty that day for registration purposes. Then Klein took back the document that now had her signature as well. He knocked on China's gate and sensed how empty, distant the echo was. He didn't hear any footsteps, but within half a minute the gate with 7 dark sacred emblems opened with a creak. China's gate opened up to allow a single person's passage before coming to a stop. Klein then walked in the help of the gas lamp on both sides of the corridor. Behind the gate there was an elderly man with obvious wrinkles and thinning hair. He also needs that fucking new invention. He was wearing classic black robe and holding a barn lantern. The dim candlelight shone through the glass, illuminating the elderly man's expressionless face with a mixture of light and darkness. His light blue eyes were like ice that had been frozen for 1,000 years. "Document," he said with a husky voice. "Document," he said with a husky voice. Klein had seen the elderly man before, because at dusk every day he would come out from behind the Chinese gate with his partners. They would pass by the duty room and take the hallway leading to Chelina's cathedral. They were nighthawks who had aged and volunteered to keep guard inside. Really? Old school nighthawks. According to Klein, understanding, there were 5 of them who kept keeping watch. "This is my application." He passed the document in his hands to the elderly man before him. The guy with light blue eyes raised the barn lantern and looked through the request carefully. After he made sure that there were no mistakes, he moved aside and let Klein pass. Klein passed through Chinese gate slowly. He had yet to take a look around when he felt an indescribably chill. It was the cold of winter, but chill that would make human spirituality shiver. Jeez, okay, so there's a lot of like aura inside that room, I guess. Klein lifted his gaze and looked afar. He saw candlesticks appearing on the wall in succession, and there were silver candles with carvings on them. The flames came out blue luster without any flickering. Creak. The guard closed Chinese gate, and the surroundings became extremely quiet. There was a broad walkway before Klein, a walkway paved with ancient stone lamps. On both sides of the walkway were stone-labeled ingredients, medicine, information, and so on. At the end of the walkway there was a flight of stairs and connected to the lower floors. They extended into the dark as though it was connected to the abyss. It should have been connected to different sealed locations that gave sealed artifacts. I heard that there were a few floors. Wonder which floor contains Saint Selena's ashes. Ooh, again mentioned. Scary. Klein adopted to the brightness behind the gate. Suddenly felt that there was something shapeless scraping against his skin. They were in strips, and every one of them chilled him to the bones. That's fucking creepy. He shivered and he couldn't help but activate his spirit vision. Then he looked at the entire area behind China's gate. It's filled with fine black lines. They were swaying lightly, occasionally clustered together, occasionally extended. They were tightly knitted without any gaps. Like black lines, like when you see on TV when it's glitching. Like what the fuck? This is ceiling power behind China's gate. Klein nodded indiscriminately. He refined in his thoughts and followed his guard. They were through a heavy stone door labeled medicine room. Very soon he found the mantha extract, the eye of the spirit medicine, and the serenity agent by following the alphabet labels. He had seen the first 2 before, but it was his first time being up the latter one. He saw that a blue fluid rippled in translucent glass bottle For some reason, looking at the fluid made him feel as though he had entered a mother embrace. Oh, it makes you really calm and like peaceful, that's why. On the bottle that was labeled, it showed the manufacturing date and expiration date, which was still some time away. I feel like the more we go deep into Volume 1, the more the donghua like changed the level of the story and direction, right? Luckily, luckily it's still been used. Klein took 3 tiny bottles of medicine and walked into Chinese gate with the guard keeping him company. He took off the feeling of coldness that had reached the deepest corner of his soul and creepy experience of being swept by the black lines. When Chinese gate closed, he couldn't help but look back. He mumbled to himself, "Staying here for a long time would affect both of the body and soul, right?" It's no wonder the guards have to volunteer. The old man is probably fucked in his mind, by the way. What the hell? Oof. The donghua was so big. Yeah, it really was. Around dawn, Klein used a special technique to lock his bedroom. He pushed open his surreal window and jumped down. What the fuck is it doing? The new story height posed no danger to the present him. Landed steadily without faltering at all. Doesn't wanna go out this door? Nighthawk's carriage was already parked opposite waiting for him. He's making out, bro. Indiscernibly? Oh, yeah, like, I know what it means, but I said it wrong. Yeah. Indiscernibly. I'm gonna remember that. The Nighthawk's carriage was already parked opposite waiting for him. Without any exchange, Klein quickly arrived at Tingen asylum in the North Borough, following the captain's instructions. He took a detour to one of the corners without a street lamp where he saw the waiting Don Smith. "Let's go in," Don nodded faintly. "I made sure that there are no one around." I wonder, like, these people who like volunteer to be like inside the Chinese gate, if their mental state is okay. Like, I wanna hug them. No? Alright, Klein quickly got closer. "Let's go in," Don nodded faintly. "I made sure that there's no one around." Alright, Klein quickly got closer. As a clown entering an asylum, it just reminded me of a famous saying, "It's like returning home." He mused to himself. Ooh, some Chinese saying, I guess. There's a meme of a recalcitrant offender who often gets sent to prison and once said in an interview that going to prison is like returning to home. I see, that's funny. He must be amused to himself. He followed down closely with the aid of the wall bumpy surface. They somersaulted, and I haven't seen this word somersaulted for such a long time, in the asylum quickly and agilely, without lending balance. Tan turned around and looked. He nodded slightly to give his approval. Two of them crouched and silently moved through the hospital's small park and activity square. They then entered the 3-story building in the asylum and arrived at the top floor when Hu Yugen's room was. Okay, so they're sneaking in. Makes sense, by the way. As Hu Yugen was possibly of becoming violent now, he had gone insane. He had been assigned to a single room. Luckily, the monitoring Nighthawks hadn't wasted their effort during the surveillance and had made a copy of the room key a long time ago. Wow! Gotcha! The lock clicked lightly and Tan entered first. Okay, there we go, guys. Klein projected his gaze past the figure and saw the person sitting on the bed. Hu Yugen's face was long and skinny. His eye sockets were deeply concave and his blonde hair was disheveled. He's definitely not pretending. He was looking at the middle barred window with his grayish blue eyes. He was looking at the crimson moon outside. Ugh, creepy. Klein closed the door to the room and chuckled and casually asked, "Why aren't you sleeping?" Don was taken aback and suddenly remembered that Klein was now a secondary clown, hence he remained silent and backed off to a corner of the room. Hudyugan turned his head and looked at Klein. He chuckled foolishly and replied, I'm waiting for my cake. A birthday cake. Lana was promised him a cake, remember? That's crazy. Don't like the country. I mean, I can't even donate on YouTube. I mean, this is gonna come down to the, you know, client finding out about the ritual, and I don't remember how it was in donghua, but I guess he's gonna find out the summoning of the true creator through Mekus, I guess. So I guess it's gonna go down soon, right? We still have like 25 chapters and we still haven't finished the background storyline, so I feel like we're gonna have Chilango's storyline for half of those episodes or chapters, and half of it will be the finishing of you know, Ints and you know, what's gonna happen with Megus and the fight and Dunsmith's unfortunate passing, and you know, Klein's unfortunate passing, even though like I still feel like we're gonna see Melissa and Pinson in the future. Like maybe somehow Klein is gonna reveal to them that Klein is alive, which I don't think he has any reason to, but maybe there's a reason in the future to do that. Or is he just gonna like spy on Melissa and Pinson from like afar a few times in the future volumes? I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go. Let's go to chapter 185. Spiritual world. Ooh. Hudyugan wants his cake. At how many are reading? 10, something like that. Hello, Becca. How are you doing? Don didn't pass away. Nah, funny Kleinstows. Okay, let's go. Spiritual world, waiting for a cake. That really wasn't the answer that I was expecting. Of course, if I was able to anticipate the answer of a mental patient, wouldn't that mean that I was almost there myself? A thought flashed through Klein's mind. He maintained his relaxed smile as if he was chatting with a friend. Okay, smart approach. I was going to send you a cake. Hudyugan's expression fell instantly, his face long and depressed. No, there's no cake. There's no cake. You stole my cake. His voice suddenly became shrill as he glared angrily at Klein. Instead of waiting for Klein to speak, he let out a shout and opened his mouth, revealing 2 rows of white teeth, following which he leaped from his mattress while salivating. He closed in on Klein with one step and extended his hands, attempting to grab onto Klein's shoulders. He wanted to drag Klein toward him and bite him. Despite the sudden attack, Klein reacted quickly despite feeling a little flustered. He instantly bent his knee and squatted. At the same time, he tilted his body to the side and raised his left arm. Oof. His shoulder slammed on Hudyugan's abdomen, causing Hood's eyes to turn white and drool to drip from his mouth. Ooh, jeez. I think you should not let the bite you, so nice. But Hadouken didn't stop moving. He allowed the momentum to carry him down and he opened his arms in an attempt to pull Klein into a bear hug. Sheesh! Klein, be careful. Klein tilted his body to the side and rolled over. His movements were smooth as though he had practiced them hundreds of times. He pushed against the ground with his right hand and stood up the somersault. Wrestling moves. I mean, if it was Seer, Azik and Stein's Seer, he would crumble to Hadouken, I feel like. Because like he has a pretty weak body. Average build. Meat looks, apparently. But now he's clown and his like fighting skills have improved. Klein tilted his body to the side and rolled over. His movements were smooth as though he had practiced them hundreds of times. He pushed against the ground with his right hand and stood up with a somersault, to go on the defensive and charged forward to restrain his opponent. But at that moment, Hadouken was only there blankly, his eyes losing focus, becoming vacant and lost. Klein froze for a moment. He turned his head towards the corner of the room, only to see Dunsmith wearing a black trench coat and matching hat, with his hands clasped tightly together and looking down. Bro, just... I guess that's Klein doing the spirit mediumship thing? Or is it Klein's stream? The captain has tracked Hadouken into a dream. Yeah, he has, okay. Upon realizing this, he stooped his subsequent attack and looked the opportunity to take out the silver ritual that could harm anyone. He used it to create a wall of spirituality which shield the ward. Yeah, he has to like make preparations for it as well. So I guess Dunsmith and Klein linking up here is really good. 1 second, I'm gonna respond to a message. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Few minutes. I know it's getting late for you guys, but I have to go for like 45 minutes. I'll come back in 45 minutes to stream again. You can keep talking in my Discord, but I'll come back in 45 minutes and we're gonna read like 6 more chapters.